I'm Georgia Simmons, and this is the Spoon Meets podcast, the ultimate breakfast companion. Spoon exists to give everyone a better breakfast. They believe the first thing you eat should be the best thing you eat. In this podcast, I'll be sitting down for a tasty seasonal breakfast with experts, thought leaders, and creative minds who are shaping the future of food. We are interested to find out all about their seemingly mundane, but somehow fascinating morning routines. Because morning routines really can make a difference. Let's get stuck in. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So we have a lovely breakfast in front of us today. We have got a caramelised banana split with coconut yogurt and Spoon's new dark chocolate granola.
It looks absolutely delicious.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've not actually made this before.
I'm a guinea pig.
You're a guinea pig.
I think it's going to go down well.
So we're going to try it. I want you to give me a few, I don't know, tell me what you think. Would you have it again? What it reminds you of? Bit of a taste test.
Yep.
And then we'll talk all about your morning routine and your morning.
Great.
Okay, let's start. I love this
You've
granola.
gone in with a fork there. I feel like I'm
So
going
I
in spoon.
have, because I found like cutting the banana was quite hard.
Okay.
But that's why I've given both options. I was a bit unsure when I was making it this morning. I was like, is this weird? Is it a dessert? Is it breakfast? I don't know.
I quite like that. I feel like, a kind of yogurt granola, almost like trifle thing is what I often go for when I'm like catering for a big group breakfast. And it's kind of desserty, but in a like luxurious post-run, enjoy your breakfast kind of way. So
Definitely, I'm a massive granola person. Are you? Do you like a granola in the mornings?
love a granola. Absolutely. Although I'm quite fussy, I think, with my granolas. I hate the ones that taste too artificial, the ones that have got like the sweeteners added. I just like it to be quite like natural oats, nuts, dried fruit, bit of flavour, but yeah.
I agree, like the rawest, healthiest granola.
Yeah, because otherwise you can actually be having so much sugar in your breakfast without even realising, thinking you're having a like healthy breakfast.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. Like, this is like 71% cocoa, which is like obviously really dark chocolate, but I love that. I think it's so nice. Okay, yeah, I'd make this again. Also, it was so quick and easy. So.
Yeah, and it looks really impressive.
It does look really impressive. So, how's your morning been so far? What have you been up to this morning?
It's been good this morning. So I've hosted a little run club. We do a 5k from the Western London city every month.
Wow.
So we've done that.
How many people are part of the run club?
So it kind of varies each month. I think we had about 30 people this morning. So yeah, really impressive that people get up and meet us at 6:30. We have a little coffee. And I always eat something before I run. I know we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I always eat something before I run. Have a coffee, do like a little warm up, and then run 5k along the river. It's so beautiful, over Millennium Bridge, down on the South Bank, up to Tower Bridge, and it's so quiet at that time of morning. It's my favourite time to run. Just seeing the city as it sort of wakes up before it gets crowded with people commuting or spilling out of pubs. So yeah, it's lovely.
That's so nice. I love that. And would you say you're a morning person? Maybe you kind of have to be if you're well, I do on Instagram and stuff, I see people after work doing a run.
I can't do it.
The motivation I have, like, fair play.
I can just think about it all day and think,
I should do that later.
Yeah. So I definitely, growing up, I was not a morning person, and then something suddenly switched weirdly at uni, and I'd be up early waiting for everyone else. And so, now I'm definitely a morning person. I have run, since I started running, I've run early in the morning. Now that I've got my son, I can't really run before he wakes up. So we tend to, if I'm running with a buggy, I'll run in the afternoons just because it's a bit, especially in the winter, it's lighter, and then we go and feed the ducks and have the dog with us and everything. But if I had the choice, when I'm running on my own, it's always first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Running with a buggy, is that hard?
Yes. But
oh my God.
It translates to much improved fitness when you're running on your own. So I was doing a lot of my easy runs with the buggy, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm not seeing any improvement. And then ran a half marathon the other day, about 20 minutes faster than I was really expecting to. So I was like, gosh, the fitness translates, so it's worth it.
Gosh.
Slog through the easy short runs.
Well, and you, I guess it kind of combines, it just shows that you can be a mum, have a child, and do your runs. Like, you can do it all. I mean, I'm sure it can be quite challenging, but It shows you can do it all.
I think just having a good running buggy, and then also if your child is willing to kind of cooperate. But Bertie loves it. He will happily sit in there. He often falls asleep. He loves just sort of people watching. We'll take bread and feed the ducks, but now I have to keep the bread until we're at the ducks. Otherwise, he's eaten it before, and it's like a bit stale bread. And I'm like, oh dear.
And how old is Bertie?
He's 16 months.
Oh,
so yeah.
Wow. And do you have any morning non-negotiables?
I mean coffee.
Yeah, okay. Talk to me about coffee. Are you a dairy drinker? Do you have non-dairy?
Yeah, I have dairy. And I just make kind of quite milky coffee. I like to sit and drink that. I mean, in an ideal world, I'd sit and drink it on my own. In reality, Bertie has his milk, I have my coffee, we have a bit of quiet time in the morning. It's quite a cute little cuddle time. And then my other non-negotiable is breakfast. I cannot leave the house. When someone's like, do you want to meet up for breakfast? I'm like, sure, but I will be having something at home first because I just can't wait.
I am so with you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this is the first thing I've had today, but I'm not gonna lie, I did nibble on some granola whilst I was like a little pot.
Some for the chef.
Besides me, yeah. But I'm such a breakfast person.
Yeah.
But I do struggle to eat before I run.
Okay.
And it's weird. I think I get a stitch or I struggle with it. I don't know what it is. Because I love running. I've got into it a lot more. I was mentioning to you earlier, I'm trying to train for a half marathon, which is going well until recently. But yeah, I can't run. I can probably have a quarter of a banana, maybe less.
How long are you waiting before, between running and then?
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm about to run out the door.
Yeah, I would say that's me, UVY. So also, bananas have quite a lot of fibre, so some people do struggle with having fibre before they run. So having something with a bit more kind of simple sugars you might tolerate that a bit better.
Okay.
My favourite thing might be a bit blasphemous, but my favourite thing to eat before a run is a Rice Krispie Square. It's really easy on the stomach. You can kind of grab and go. That I always take them when I'm traveling or when I'm going to be kind of out and about before I run to make sure I just have simple, quick carbs, quite low in fat, quite low in fibre, easily tolerated by the stomach. They are my go-to. And so I'll have one of those with my coffee before I run, do my run, and then come back and have something that's got protein, carbs, fibre, fat all together as like a kind of balanced, nutritious meal afterwards of my recovery ideally within 30 minutes afterwards.
Fine. And are you a sweet or savoury breakfast person?
Either.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I've been listening to the Glucose Goddess recently about obviously how savoury is the best, really, to start your mornings with. But I'm such a sweet person for breakfast. I do struggle to go for something savoury. I love savoury, but granola or a smoothie is my kind of normal go-to.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. I think I probably try and have a bit of both. So have some fruit, have some veggies, even if that's, avocados and tomatoes and some eggs. I actually think having my son, and I really focus on getting him to have a really good breakfast. It means that I've slowed down and I take more time for my breakfast in the morning because I try and have it together. I'll often do he actually has a 3 or 4 course breakfast. Breakfast is his meal of the day. Wow. He will have half a banana, eggs, yogurt, blueberries, sometimes at the moment hot cross bun. Yeah, he loves his breakfast. And so actually it's forced me I will have a slower breakfast because we'll have it together. And also I'll be more mindful rather than kind of just chucking something in or shoveling something down before I go out the door. I'm much more mindful of making sure it contains all the kind of nutrients for me because I'm so focused on what he's getting. Yeah. And actually I think that in terms of all of my cooking, I've slowed everything down. He has basically what we have for dinner, but the day before. So we'll have it for dinner and then he'll have it the next day. And I'm adding far less salt, far less kind of added fat because I want him to make sure he's got a nutritious meal. So it's really helped in terms of how I think about balancing our intake for the day. Yeah.
That is really, really good. And how early do you have breakfast? Did you find that, because I struggle to eat kind of before 9 o'clock, but I don't know.
If he wakes up early, sometimes we're having breakfast before 7.
Okay, yeah.
Just because he gets a bit grizzly. But normally I'd say 7:30 is when I'm having breakfast. If I'm working in the hospital, I make overnight oats or yogurt and granola with fruit, and I'll have that when I get to work. So I'll have something small, maybe a smoothie, or maybe just a piece of toast or something.
Yeah.
Or sometimes nothing or a yogurt before I go to work, and then I'll have it at like 8:30 as I'm kind of going through emails and stuff.
Yeah. And would you say breakfast is like your favourite meal of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do like dinner, obviously, it's like more sociable and you've got like more going on and it's a nice occasion, but breakfast is just like, you know those people who are like, yeah, I don't eat till about 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh my god, how? I literally can't.
Also, they forget. I'm like, my body will tell me.
I wake up thinking about breakfast.
Sometimes I go to bed.
Yes.
I'm so excited for this breakfast. Or if you're going out somewhere,
Yeah, but I like to make my breakfast really different every day. So like this is going to sound so weird now, but like in my notes I kind of write down roughly, because I'm plant-based, I like to make sure I get variety in my diet. So I kind of write down like what I'm having each day. And I get excited for like the variety of every breakfast. Like for example, tomorrow I'm making pistachio chia pudding, and I'm so excited about it. I honestly can't wait.
That's so good. For our gut health, like we're supposed to be having 30 different types of plants a week. So making sure that you're getting the variety. And I think it's so difficult, especially when you're trying to eat seasonally or just kind of bulk buying at the supermarket. You end up buying like one type of fruit or one type of vegetable or a couple and having like the same thing, because it makes sense financially and kind of just in terms of like space and not wanting waste. But actually having the variety is so beneficial for our gut health.
It really is. I know some people who have the same food shop arrive every week.
Yeah,
and that makes me really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand.
I get it.
It's like timing wise, like I've been trying to think about switching to doing online food deliveries, but I like going to the supermarket and I like seeing what's in season, what's on offer, what's in the like reduced section. And I do try and make a list and like I'll meal plan for the week. But I can, like, a lot of things are like a curry, you can sub in any type of vegetables. The same with like a stew and all of those kind of things, especially in the winter. I will kind of roughly plan, but then use whatever we've got at the supermarket.
It's funny, I actually hate supermarkets. Like, I think it's because I get odd box delivered every other week, so that dictates what I make, and then I find a supermarket a bit overwhelming, because I'm like, I've been so used to just making what I get given, and that inspiring me, and then just buying things I need added on online. Like when I go to a supermarket, I'm like, whoa.
I was just in America and I literally was like, Tom, to my husband, I was like, can you drop me off at the supermarket? He's like, how long are you going to be in? And I was like, however long it takes. Like literally, I'm like walking up and down the aisles being like, went into Trader Joe's. I was like buying all the spices.
Yes.
There's this amazing like snack mix that I stocked up on that's like corn, crisps, and what else is in it? Something else. Oh, pretzels.
Oh, wow.
Covered in chocolate.
Oh, wow. That is insane.
Heaven. Anyway, I basically stock up on that. But I used to get odd box, but I had celeriac every single week. And I got to the point where I was like, I can't have any more celeriac fritters or mash or this or that.
Yeah.
I need a break.
I've got celeriac. I think it's kind of like rotting in my fruit bowl right now. I'm the same. But then I was getting that with potatoes, so I actually I'm allergic to potatoes, so I don't get potatoes anymore. Because I was like, I don't actually, weirdly, I love sweet potatoes, but I don't really cook much with potatoes. So I was like, I'm just getting they're just going in the bin, which is not the point of Odd Box. So I do write down what I don't want.
I wish you could have more.
Yeah.
And it was a bit more like...
A bit more diverse, more. Aubergines, I think, getting a lot of at the moment, which I'm not unhappy about.
No, they're at least... I mean, celeriac I do like, but... There's a limit.
There's a limit. There's a definite limit. And it gets a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
So how do you feel on your long runs? Because would I call myself a runner?
Yes, absolutely.
I will call myself
If you run, you're a runner.
As a runner,
you don't feel like it,
I don't feel myself on runs. Like I've not actually got to that point yet where I take anything with me, because I think the furthest I've ever run is 16k, which still is a good distance, but I don't.
And actually, you should be.
Okay.
So over like 70 minutes, unless you're super speedy, over 70 minutes we should be fueling our runs with carbs, because that's when we get to our roughly 60 minutes is how much we like glycogen carbs we've got stored and can utilize on the run. after that you need to be replenishing. So that could be, if you prefer to take it via fluids, you could have a carb drink. You can take gels, you can take like shot blocks, like little chews, real food like a saurine bar or a banana or dates. Although if you struggle a little bit with kind of stitches, maybe something less fibrous would be better. I take gels mostly, or little shot block bars, or even just like sweets like Percy Pigs, quite delicious on the run.
Yeah, I need to experiment with this because I've not tried it, and the gels don't appeal to me, and I don't know why. I think it's because I don't like artificial tastes. I'm worried that I'm not going to like them.
Try Vela Forte.
Okay.
They do some nice gels, quite natural gels, and like little squares, they're called bites, I think.
Okay.
There's the ginger one, which is quite nice. There's an apple one. I find they're really good for people who is like kind of want to go down the more natural route.
Yeah.
Or there's something called Hummer, which is a chia seed based gel, which is, again, the apple and cinnamon is actually really nice.
That sounds nice. Yeah.
And then I recently tried something called by 226s, which questionable whether you actually would enjoy it on the run, but it's like a peanut butter and honey one.
Oh, wow.
Which I've actually thought about having in like a porridge or over a granola for some extra carbs before a long run.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to try it because it was a bit odd on the run.
Fine.
But yeah, there's lots of different options. I think it's the texture that puts a lot of people off as well.
Yeah. I think I need to experiment with it because I've just seen them and they just look like kind of like, I just get the feeling of like orange and passion fruit or like mango, and I'm like, oh no, like I don't know how I feel about that, but apple and cinnamon sounds like I could do that.
Yeah, it's all about kind of trial and error, I think, with the fueling on the run, because on like a really hot day, what you are craving or your body can tolerate is going to be different to like a really cold day. Or I struggle chewing the chews when it's really cold because my jaw feels like it's a bit locked. So yeah, just kind of practicing, taking a few different things out with you, having something every roughly 30 minutes, ideally, on a long run.
Gosh, okay. Yeah, I need to get better at that. The fueling part's probably not my strong point. I'm there like, empty stomach does the job.
Yeah. So the thing is that can, you were mentioning that you've been injured quite a lot, and that actually can have a knock-on effect on, you're basically adding stress to your body by underfueling. So you're making it use its resources that it already has. And if you're not careful about fueling before, during and after, then it can lead to more injuries, to kind of more exhaustion, that sort of thing, because you're literally not giving your body the fuel it needs to perform the activity and then recover from it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what's happening, because I didn't eat before the long run, didn't eat on the long run. I had something afterwards, but yeah, probably not fueling the right way, which I need to look into, because it's actually, I'm very conscious about what I eat, but I guess kind of when it comes to long runs and running, it's a completely different ballgame in terms of what your body needs. It's more like sugars and carbs and like that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, carbs are king. Like glucose is what your body wants, especially for kind of endurance running. But it can come from natural sources. So if you don't want to try a gel, maybe something like, an apple puree pouch, even, the baby food ones that you can get in the supermarkets, or making something yourself, or even like, we've just said you don't get potatoes anymore, but you could literally take potatoes on the run, like roasted potatoes, cold, roasted, add some salt to them, like roast them in some like coconut oil or something. Delicious, good for like getting the salt back, and they've got potassium in, and they've got obviously
that's such
carbs.
a good one. That's such a good one.
So maybe you need to add them back onto your odd box.
Yeah, maybe I do. That is amazing. And when it's winter and cold and dark, how do you find the motivation to get up and do those runs? Because it is hard, especially in the UK in winter.
Having a dog helps, because you're like, right, I'm going to have to take him out.
Yeah.
So he comes on a lot of my winter runs with me.
And what dog do you have? Because I know I've got little Marley's out there. I know for sure I could not take her on a long run. She'd be like, what is this? No.
So don't take Chester on long runs. Most he does is like 6 miles, which is still quite far, but we've built up. But I've got a toy Labradoodle.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. And he knows, like the other day I took him to this park and I needed to do another lap, and he was like, no, we're going back to the car now. But so, yeah, he's a great little runner. He doesn't love running on the lead, so I do a lot of it in places that I can go off the lead, and obviously it's a bit slower and stop to pick up poo and sniff things and wee things and that sort of thing. But it means that both of us get out of the house. Often it's with the buggy as well. It means we're all out, and I feel like when it's really cold and dark, that's like what I'll do just to kind of have the motivation. Otherwise, go on the treadmill if it's really miserable, put a show on, go to the gym, or meet someone, try and meet up with a group of friends or a run club or something that means that you're going to commit to going out anyway.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And do you have any challenges this year that you're working towards in particular?
So I'm doing 2 marathons this year.
2? Yeah. 2 marathons, oh my God, well done.
Well, I feel like I need that. That helps with my motivation massively. It's having something that I'm like, if I don't get up and do this, it's going to hurt so much on race day. Yeah. So I'm doing Boston Marathon in April and then Berlin Marathon in September.
Wow, and have you done either of those before?
Yes, done them both before.
Okay.
But I just love a big city race. I feel love London Marathon, just the kind of enthusiasm, the crowds, the way that the whole city gets behind you. It's like the victory lap of all of your training, especially like London, where you've run through winter, you've run through the dark, cold mornings, and then you get to run through the city on usually a really lovely day.
So true.
This year,
have you done New York?
Yeah.
That looks really good.
That one is amazing. The only thing I found in New York is that you had to get up so early to get like the ferry out, and it's a point to point, whereas I feel like London was so spoiled.
So true.
Yeah, it's so easy.
It is a lot easier. Yeah, and which is your favourite out of Berlin and Boston?
Good question. I mean, I think that Boston's like, it's got so much history behind it.
Yeah.
And again, like whenever you kind of think of people cheering, like Americans cheering is so enthusiastic.
Oh my God, they are so true.
That I think the Germans just aren't quite the same.
They're not. No.
The enthusiasm levels are just like, in everywhere outside of the US are just a little bit lower.
So true.
Yeah.
And what's your kind of go-to breakfast before a marathon?
So, marathon morning, I will usually have a bagel, banana with peanut butter.
Yeah.
I'll have a carb drink, so like an electrolyte and carb mix, and coffee, and then Rice Krispie bars.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. And then what is your kind of after race go-to?
So after race, after my long runs, I'll have something quite like nutritious, thinking about recovery.
Yes.
After a race, it's a Diet Coke, burger and fries.
Well done.
Yeah, every time. We go to Shake Shack. And I'm like, this is my go-to.
Yeah.
But that's when I haven't got anything, like I'm not running the next day. I'm going to have 2 weeks. I'm going to be eating more mindfully the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And I think that's something to just bear in mind, that I'm not doing that after every long run.
No, you can't treat yourself after a marathon.
Yeah, and also I always want the sodium, like I'm quite a salty sweater. So I think that's why I always go for like chips, because they're quite salty.
Yes.
Diet Coke, just because I love a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of like the protein, carbs, it's quite fat heavy. So I often, you kind of often don't feel great after a marathon anyway, because you've had all the gels and you've had, everything. So yeah, after a long run, I try and have something like a jacket potato with like a chili or something, or a roast if I can be bothered to make the roast after. So lots of like veggies and meat, and so just trying to think about, after a long run, that protein, carb quite quickly after.
I feel like straight after doing something like a marathon, you probably feel a bit sick.
You can do.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's more down to dehydration than, it can be like carb mix and the fact that you've just exerted yourself for however 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. But I felt the most sick on long runs and marathons when I haven't hydrated well.
Yeah.
And I think that often we get into if you start to feel sick during a race or a long run, you then stop fueling, and that can make it worse. So even if you're feeling, especially in somewhere like London Marathon, there's so many people on the side of the road with like sweets, which I know it's a bit like, where have those hands been? But I'm just like, if I stop being able to take my gels, then I'll really try and get like the Haribo or the orange segment and just squeeze a bit of that in.
Yeah.
To keep the carbs up and still try and drink water and just walk through the water stations if I can.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. And what time are you hoping for these runs? I'm guessing you have a kind of goal in mind.
Boston actually is just I'm trying to get fit to have fun there. Berlin, I'm trying to get 3:30. That's the goal. So I've got a while to get there. But. That's
incredible. And what was your time on your last marathon?
So my last marathon, I ran. I paced a friend, and we had.
Fine.
It was a long day, but I think it just got really hot in Chicago, and yeah. So I ran London last year for fun and ran a sub 4 quite comfortably. So that was kind of a good
okay, you can do it.
Starting point, yeah.
God, well done and good luck.
Thank you.
Charlie, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you liked your breakfast.
I loved it. I finished it.
I know, I've still got 2 little bites.
Delicious.
That granola. People sometimes find it too healthy. I love it.
It's absolutely delicious. I'm going to mop up all of the,
I'll give you
the
a
extra yogurt. Thank you.
For your kind of pre-run snacks.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but thank you so much for coming, and yeah, lovely to see you.
And you.